Yeah, affect me a lot. I would not say it that way, but yes, it was pretty complicated to handle this type of training camp.
For sure, man. And recently, I want to get your thoughts on this. Dana White said in a media tour this week that this fight is the number one contender fight after DC versus Stipe. So was it nice to hear those words come out of his mouth to kind of get some clarification there?
Uh, Honestly, I don't know. I thought my last fight was for the title was for the title fight. I thought this fight would be for the title fight, but it didn't happen. So I don't know. I'll see what's happened.
And going along with that, he did say that DC and Stipe has to happen first before, even if you win this fight, for you to fight the champion. So is that frustrating at all to know that even if you win this, there's a long layup on the other side potentially?
Our division has been frustrating and hold up for a very long time, and yeah, it's frustrating. And there's a lot of things that I think they still have to put together and to make the division to put the division back online because the division is kind of like you know it's kind of weird a little bit. It has been it's gonna be almost 1 year since the fight for the since the fought for the title. When is the next time for the title in the heavyweight division? No one knows. I mean, when is that fight against Stipe and DC? Nobody knows. So yeah.
Right. So what would you do? Do you think? I saw Dana again in an interview recently said that with an interview with Barstool Sports, he was asked at what point do you kind of think about taking the belt away from Stipe, or is that a possibility? And he didn't rule it out. I mean, is that something that you would think about that the UFC should do something like that, or do you think, given the circumstances of the pandemic, maybe that a little bit leeway is allowed for the champion here?
I would not think about something like that. First of all, because it's not my call, and it's the UFC from the UFC to figure that out. What I need, we request for the interim title fight, who for me was some way to solve this problem, but they declined that. So
My last question for you: do you feel like that there's anything that you can go out there and maybe do on Saturday that would give you a leapfrog, where it would put you into a title fight no matter what next? Do you think that that's kind of the performance you're gunning for?
okay, I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what that means. Like what exactly you can do on besides win the fight. I think I'm going to win the fight on Saturday, but at this point, I have realized that it's not your call. You know, there is not a how can I say that? There is not the rules. It's all about what UFC wants. So if ever they want, it's gonna happen. If they don't want, it won't happen. But I'm okay with that. It's okay.
Thanks, Francis. Appreciate the time.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Caroline Pierce with BT Sport has the next question.
Hi, Francis. I just want to ask you, what's the atmosphere been like in the hotel in this fight week with so fewer people around and all the testing that you've had to undergo? What's the atmosphere like?
The atmosphere. Do you think? I don't know if there's just a few people around. I haven't checked it. I came. I checked in yesterday, and then I went in my room, and I'm just getting out of my room right now. It wouldn't be the media, I would still be in my room. So
So it doesn't feel too different so far.
nothing has changed, and I'm gonna stay in my room.
Look, great strategy there. Keep away. But what I want to ask you is, you're fighting an undefeated fighter in Rozenstruik. Both of you tend to like to counter punch. What is the strategy for you going into this to make sure you're the one that gets your hand raised? Obviously you both want to knock each other out, but in watching his tape, what's your strategy going to be, as much as you're willing to tell us?
On Saturday night, you're gonna see my strategy. but no, really.
So mindset, you have shared some sort of grievances about the fight being on and then off again and then on again. Has that been difficult mentally for you to get up for this fight and that usual preparation that you'd have with that in mind, not knowing that if it was going to happen or not, and then have to switch back into gear again?
Yeah, it has been quite difficult, but I believe it has been for everybody. It's not like it was just about me. Lately, nothing has been as it used to be. Nothing has been normal. So the the entire world has changed. So everyone has to adjust and adapt to the new world. So it wasn't easy, but it wasn't nobody fault. So it's okay.
So you shared some frustrations about this is essentially a title eliminator fight, but you don't necessarily know if you win this when obviously that's going to take place based on Daniel Cormier, Stipe Miocic fighting that trilogy fight. So what can you do to ensure that if that does go ahead and you do get that next shot, what sort of performance do you think it's going to take? And is that a certain amount of pressure or expectation on yourself to not just win, but really put on a show?
To be honest, I don't worry about that anymore. It has been a few months ago that I deal with that. What's gonna happen? My only concern, what I'm focused on, is this fight on Saturday. What next? I don't know. And to be honest, I don't really care about what would it be. Whatever it is, I'm gonna be there, and that's it.
Well, last question from me. Tell me about these ice baths that you've been doing for recovery. I mean, I've done them myself in the past, but whew, that did look very cold.
It's fucking cool. I mean, you never get used to. I never get used to iPad because we have someone at the UFC Performance Institute, and I'll try to go there at least once a week, but never get used to. And then when after training, sometime at the stream, we're gonna do it. Never get used to. It's still the same shit.
Thanks, Francis.
Welcome.
Next, we have Heidi Fang Devine with Las Vegas Review Journal.
Hi, Francis. I wanted to ask about just your training process. What was it like going between just Extreme Couture, the UFC PI, and trying to keep yourself at the right level so that you don't overpeak in the amount of times that you've trained for this fight ahead of the fight?
There wasn't a UFC PI anymore during this time. It was close. It was about extreme couture. As I said, we have to adjust everything. At first, it was very weird, very complicated, but as long it goes, we try to find our space and be able to make it.
And in the process of coming to Florida, did you have a direct flight or wasn't it like you had to stop over? What was the process like of you getting to Florida from Las Vegas?
We didn't have a direct flight. We have a layover in Dallas for like 3 hours. But it was a good flight, not too crowded. But
did it make you nervous at all having to go through that process and getting all the way from Las Vegas to Jacksonville?
No, I'm not nervous about anything. I think I'm gonna be fine.
Last thing for me, we saw your testing process and procedure when you arrived over a video. What was that like for you? It seems unpleasant, to kind of say the least.
Say it again.
The testing process that you went through with coronavirus testing ahead of the fight when you arrived yesterday, what was that like for you?
The thing in the nose is not good shit. Like that was the second time that I did it, and it wasn't very good at all. It's too weird. I think I'd rather take a punch than take that shit.
All right. Thank you, Francis.
Next up, we have Guilherme Gusso. You're unmuted.
Ouais, c'est bon. Yes, the question will be in French. Salut Francis, c'est Guillaume de la Sueur. J'avais une question à te poser concernant la France. Est-ce que tu penses que ton prochain combat pourrait être en France au regard de la situation du MMA?
Non, très difficile d'y penser ça. Éventuellement, vu que en ce moment, il n'y a pas d'activité en France et avec cette pandémie, il y a eu beaucoup de trucs qui se sont passés ici aux États-Unis. Et en envisageant que mon prochain combat risque d'être pour le titre, je ne pense pas que l'UFC serait partant d'aller faire un premier événement en France en pay-per-view.
Et que ce soit pour le titre, pour ton prochain combat, ça personne n'en doute. Est-ce que pour toi, si tu, dans le meilleur des mondes, le faire en France ou en Afrique, quel serait l'idéal pour toi?
Oui, bien entendu, ce serait l'idéal pour moi. Mais la question, qu'est-ce qui serait l'idéal pour l'UFC? C'est ça qui compte. C'est ça qui prime surtout.
Et t'es concentré bien évidemment, et t'es bien évidemment concentré sur ta carrière. Est-ce que tu aurais un adversaire privilégié pour ce combat pour le titre?
Pardon?
Est-ce que tu aurais un adversaire privilégié pour ce combat pour le titre?
Il n'y a pas d'adversaire privilégié pour le titre. L'adversaire pour le titre, c'est le champion. Tu choisis pas un adversaire pour combattre le titre. Et c'est lui qui est déjà champion, c'est lui qui est pour le titre. À moins que tu veux faire allusion au fait qu'ils vont encore combattre avant mon combat, peut-être.
Voilà, c'est ça.
Oui, je préférerais Stipe.
Super. Merci beaucoup, Francis. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Francis.
I'm done?
Yep. Thank you.